Hi there, meteorologist Paige Noel here. We are tracking more WVLT First Alert weather days. We're tracking the last of the second system to move in. Another wintry weather, just kind of mess moving in. Here's kind of what to take off the top here. Impacts are a little bit less, especially with the winter weather. Greatest impact is going to be that cold air that moves back in as we head into the weekend. So WVLT First Alert weather day really starting this evening, and that's going to last through the weekend for a couple of different reasons. Here's that system we're watching for you. So you can already see there's snow up into Lexington, Cincinnati. And then you're kind of seeing more of that freezing rain, wintry mix there, Memphis. The system is weak in terms of precip. Not a lot of moisture really with this system. So whatever is falling from the sky, whether that's rain, ice, sleet, or snow, it's going to be pretty light as we head into those evening hours and a little bit later as we head into tonight. So kind of a more moderate risk. This kind of shows you what we're really keeping an eye on. So a moderate risk there Thursday, really starting this afternoon to evening to Friday. So we're bringing the rain, ice, and some snow tonight. Friday turns to more of those snow showers, but mainly for those higher elevations. But when we're talking about these WVLT First Alert weather days, what's the kind of largest, greatest impact that comes heading into the weekend? Freezing cold, feeling below zero at times. And also what could impact you too is with this cold air, depending how much we can kind of get to melt today with those temperatures warming up, is a lot of you, especially if you're in those rural areas, back roads, you could potentially be stuck at home through the weekend with that cold air moving back in. So it's another big concern as we head into the weekend. So here's that winter weather advisory. Now all of us are in it, really starting this evening through Friday. Patchy ice and some snow showers, likely for some of us, not all of us, getting in on that snow. I'll show you that in a second. Here are the kind of the thoughts we have so far of who's going to see what type of this kind of wintry mess that's moving in. So you can see really down towards McMinn, Monroe, most of Blount County, about half of Knox County, and kind of that Loudoun County and a little bit of Roane County, mainly seeing rain. Likely mostly just seeing some rain, could see some mixing, but I think mostly rain. And then you could see that pinkish color, so that's including parts of Sevier County, the rest of Knox County, Anderson to Union County, Granger to most of kind of that Hamblin, Jefferson County area, parts of Cumberland, Morgan, and then the rest there of Roane County, kind of seeing that mix, so rain, ice, and snow. Now what actually is going to potentially stick, I think, is in that blue area. So you could see more of the plateau, southeastern Kentucky, far northeastern counties, and then those mountain tops potentially getting that icing, kind of maybe a very light glaze, and then snow on top of that. It's very light snow, but snow on top of that. So that's kind of what we're looking at as we head into the next about 24 hours or so. Just want to explain some of these different precip types. I had this question on here the other day, kind of like, what is wintry weather? And there's a lot of different types of wintry precip with this. So what's going to happen today is we are going to get some warming to move in. Winds are shifting from the southwest. It's going to bring in a little bit more of that warmer air, so we're going to have more of a warm nose starting to push back into the region. It's not super warm. I think we have a high of 36 today, but warming even through all the layers of the atmosphere. So typically when we see rain, one column of warm air. That means warm air through all the different layers of the atmosphere and at the surface. Now when we get to freezing rain, that's when it's warm throughout most of the atmosphere, and then right at the surface it's cold. So it'll rain and then it'll freeze as it basically hits the ground. Sleet's kind of a 50-50 situation where you got half of that warmer air in the atmosphere and then half of that cold air. So you got that rain kind of starting to freeze into a little bit of that sleet. And then snow, of course, all cold air through all layers of the atmosphere. So we're kind of having a lot of this because we have that warm nosing pushing in throughout the day today, and especially heading into tonight. All right, let's get into that First Alert Futurecast. Let's break out the latest timing on this. So you're starting to see a little bit of a wintry kind of mess start to push in 3-4 o'clock. It's very light. Not even sure all this will start to reach the ground quite yet, but you can see isolated snow showers right on that Kentucky-Tennessee line. That pink is anywhere from a mix of some sleet to potentially some freezing rain. Then, of course, the green, you have that rain pushing in. You can see most of the valley really dealing with that rain. Here's even a look at 7 o'clock. Mostly more of a kind of a wintry mix there. Just some rain mixing in, better coverage 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. Again, there's that mix. More of really just seeing kind of that freezing rain, sleet to rain, because temperatures, like I said, we're at 36 for the high today. We're only dropping to about 34 overnight. Magic number is 32, of course, for that freezing temperature. So we're kind of right near it. We've been really cold, but with those temperatures just slightly above freezing, that's why we're getting more of just a wintry wintry mix mess. Say that 5 times fast. Starts to lighten up throughout the overnight hours. We do see our high temperature Friday early and then drop those temperatures throughout the day. So mostly on Friday, we're seeing those rain, sleet, snow change over to snow showers. They're light and they're mainly in those higher elevations. Here's that look at 7, 8 o'clock. We're seeing that really mostly turn to snow right on that Kentucky-Tennessee line and then towards parts of the plateau. You can see mainly those higher elevations, some flurries, some light snow showers possible here in the valley. A light dusting at best. I don't think we really pick up a whole lot just because it is so light. You can even see up towards those mountaintops getting in on a few of those isolated snow showers. And then really we're going to switch to that cold. Cold air moves in as we head throughout the day Friday. There's a few of those snow showers lingering up towards southeastern Kentucky, the plateau, right on that Kentucky-Tennessee line, and then up towards kind of a little bit of the foothills, but mostly towards those mountaintops by the time we get into your Friday, kind of continuing throughout the day. But it's really that cold air that we'll be tracking and focusing on throughout the day Friday. And, of course, as we head into the weekend, you can see those snow showers continuing a couple inches up towards those mountaintops and even along that Kentucky-Tennessee line. Definitely possible. These snow showers even continue overnight Friday into Saturday, but the biggest impact by the time we get into the weekend is that cold air moving in. So here's how much snow is expected, kind of zooming in on each area. So as we move into the valley, so Knox to parts of Blount County, most of, Loudoun, Roane, McMinn, Monroe, really not getting a whole lot. Maybe a light dusting into some spots, even that Chilhowie to Townsend, so even those foothills, maybe about a half an inch, but a couple inches up towards those mountains, definitely possible. The mountains of Monroe to parts of Blount, and then of course as you head up towards Sevier County. I know you guys didn't get a whole lot with this last system. I think you might get a little bit more. A light dusting, about a half an inch, maybe an inch Sevierville to Gatlinburg, and then a couple of inches up towards those mountaintops. Heading up towards the plateau, Crossville, you guys are getting a whole lot of that mixing, so I think that's where you're going to be closer to about that half an inch, but maybe up to an inch into some spots like Venturous County, into parts of Scott County, and then up into Campbell, and then up into Claiborne County. Definitely a couple inches possible. It looks like mostly snow for you guys up into southeastern Kentucky, so Bell, Harlan. You guys can get about 1 to 2 inches, definitely possible. And then very light dusting. You guys get a lot of mixing, that Morristown to Dandridge to Mohawk, but again, a couple of inches up towards those mountaintops is definitely possible. Again, we could see some isolated snow showers to flurries here in Knoxville, but I don't know if we'll see a lot of that really stick just because we kind of have a lot of that mixing in together. Keeping an eye, of course, on the icing. We never want to deal with freezing rain or ice. There's really no way to really treat it or deal with it. Here's kind of our thoughts right now. Anything less than 1/10 of an inch is not that significant, so that's good news that most of our maps are showing less than that. But you can see a very light kind of glaze of ice possible from Cumberland to Morgan. So this is the area that also could get some snow. So we could get kind of a light glazing of ice, especially on those elevated surfaces, and then snow on top of that. So that is definitely possible for these areas that are kind of in blue here. Usually when we're getting about less than 1/10 of an inch, that's going to accumulate on those elevated surfaces. So like your porches, your stairs, on your cars, that kind of thing. Bridges and overpasses could get a little bit slick. But with this amount of ice, that it's not a significant amount, typically we're not really going to see a lot of major impacts with this ice. It looks like about 1/10 of an inch potentially up into Bell County, so that could create some icy roads over there. And then you could see some light icing up towards the foothills and mountains and into those far northeastern counties. Again, in the valley, I think we're mostly just dealing with rain, not really picking up on a whole lot of that icing potential, mostly just dealing with that rain to even some sleet and even some snow here. So here's kind of a better explanation of this, is what we kind of look at it. We don't really talk about ice a lot, so this is kind of a good reminder. So about 1/10 of an inch. Usually glazed, so that's what I was kind of talking about. Icy bridges, power outages, not likely. So we're staying at that 1/10 and even less than that. Most of us are less than that, so that's good news. Usually we're not seeing impacts till we get about 2-3/10 of an inch to even about a half an inch. That's not what we're talking about with this system. We're talking about less than even 1/10 of an inch. So again, not looking at any widespread impacts from this ice. Just kind of keep that in mind, though, that some spots could be slick. Really, if you can stay in really over the next couple of days, it's just highly recommended, because I do think roads could still be a little bit iffy iffy as we head into the next couple of days. All eyes are on the cold as we head into the weekend. So our WVLT First Alert weather days continue Saturday and Sunday as we're talking single-digit temperatures in the morning, feeling even colder. So we got temperatures feeling below zero in Knoxville by Saturday morning, and really surrounding areas too. Only feeling like the single digits to even lower teens by Saturday afternoon. Very, very cold day ahead once again. We're going to be dropping back into those feels like temperatures to feeling like below zero by Sunday morning, and then we'll finally start to rebound a little bit, but even by 8 o'clock on Sunday still feeling like those low to mid-teens. So very, very cold air heading into the weekend. Make sure to check on your people's pets and pipes, all of that good stuff. I'm going to bring up the Facebook Live here and maybe answer any questions you guys have. We've had some really good questions on here the past couple of days, and hopefully I can help clarify anything you guys need. The weather's been obviously insane, so I'm going to go here and see. Alex asked when we'll see relief. Monday. I'm just going to go ahead and say Monday. Hopefully we can get a little bit of thawing out today. I'm really hopeful for that. Of course, we have, I mean, it's really thick ice in some sense. I don't know about your neighborhood, but my neighborhood, really thick ice, and it hasn't been cleared yet. So some thawing today for sure. Is that all going to clear out? I'm going to say probably not. So really when we start to get that relief and really get over this, I think it's more as we head into next week. And we'll see that pretty quickly. So trying to see. Someone said, does this mean Rutledge is going to get more snow, 0.3 inches? Yeah, you're kind of in that area that could potentially get kind of that very light dusting. You're going to have a lot of mixing, though, with this system, but you could see some very light snow showers, mainly as by the time we get into Friday. Someone asked when this is coming. When this next system starts to push in this afternoon to evening. So 3, 4 o'clock. I think it's more widespread between 7 and 8 o'clock. And then kind of continues throughout the overnight hours and into tomorrow. But again, the precip types and how much, it's very low. I want everyone to be prepared and be aware, but don't be scared of this. Nothing like what we saw earlier this week. I think the impacts we could still be seeing from the snow earlier this week. I think that's the greater impact, as those temperatures are staying pretty cold. We only get above freezing for a couple of hours today, and then we're back to below freezing. So whatever doesn't thaw out, likely refreezing and staying frozen through the week. And I think that's really a really big impact, especially if a lot of you are getting cabin fever. But if your roads are slick and you can stay home and you have that ability to, just recommend doing that. Watch some movies, get caught up on your Netflix shows this weekend. That's kind of what I'm planning to do. A lot of people asking about, some people asked about flights tomorrow. That I don't know. I think you'll be able to get out. The airport's been pretty decent. I know they shut down a little bit the other day, but they've been running pretty smoothly. But we'll get that question answered for you. Hopefully we can have more on that as we head into the afternoon to evening hours. Someone said, what about Louisville, Tennessee? My parents live in that area. My whole driveway is still frozen and several inches still on the ground. Yeah, Wesley, I do think that you might be trapped for a couple more days. It'll depend how much kind of thaws out today. But again, with that refreezing, we're still tracking those icy roads. And then temperatures will probably drop back to below freezing, I would say probably by this time tomorrow. And then we're staying below freezing until Monday afternoon. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, we do have some sunshine Saturday and Sunday, so that's going to help thaw some things out. But again, temperatures still staying below freezing. So just be prepared to maybe be stuck in the house for the next couple of days here. Just try not to go out if you don't have to. If your roads still look icy, just not really worth it. So someone said, what's the high temperature expected on Monday? 36. Don't quote me on that. It's in our WVLT First Alert weather app, and of course on our website. Numbers hard for me to remember, but I do think we're into those mid 30s, and then we quickly warm up. Actually, next week will be like, I think Tuesdays like lower 40s, and then we're in the 50s to almost 60s by the end of the week. So there is some warming, and I actually posted in our WVLT First Alert weather app as well. I was looking at temperatures kind of heading towards the end of January. We actually look like we're warming up. So if you want to kind of take a look at that, that's in our WVLT First Alert weather app. We're always looking ahead, even beyond that 8-day planner in there too. So if you don't have it, it's great to have it. If you're kind of like me and you're like, all right, I'm over this, let's focus on next week. We have stuff in the app there about next week's weather for you. So A lot of people saying they're just turning in and asking about their area. Once this video is over, you can go back and watch it and kind of watch that track again. Chief Meteorologist Heather Haley looking at the latest data now, and we'll have an updated track at noon. I'll be back on at 3:30 and 4 and 5, and then Mr. Ben Cathy, finally back from vacation. He'll be back later this evening, but of course we're going to be tracking out the latest for you, especially starting at 3:30. I think that's when we could start to see this wintry weather move in. But again, the latest update and track for you at noon. But for everyone, stay safe, stay home if you can, and stay warm.